Howdy y'all, it's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in beautiful and early Atlanta, Georgia. We'll see a nice sunrise that God made. It's going to happen right there. Anyway, it is September the 9th, 2024, and I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I think is really important. I wanted to make this video for quite a while, and it's about cash flow and different payment options that you have for being a lawn care business. This would apply almost to any service business, but since we're in lawn care, that's what we'll kind of talk about. And I'm going to give you, I think there's really 5 different areas of payments that you can take, and then I'm going to tell you what we do. I'm going to tell you why I do what I do, and hopefully, whether you've got 1 customer or 1,000 customers, you can take this and maybe integrate some of it in your business. Maybe try some different things to help try to alleviate your pain points. And I'm going to tell you why I use the system that I use, because this can be a bag of worms. So, all right, so just to get started, I think the holy grail of payment options for lawn care is prepay. So if you could have all of your customers on prepay, that would be the best scenario. And the reason is because you get the money up front. There's no worrying if the customer's going to pay you or not pay you, because they've paid before the service has occurred. Now, this is pretty rare. Usually you have to offer a discount if you're going to do prepay. I have a couple customers that are on prepay. One of them wanted to be on prepay, and they don't get a discount. And the other one I put on prepay because I was having trouble with their funding on their credit card, but they were okay with it. Sometimes when people get paid, their pay doesn't line up with your service, and if they use debit cards, they can get a little funky with the money. So anyway, I have 2 customers on prepay, and it works out fine. Now, the advantages of prepay is it's safe for you, and hopefully you're honest, you do a good job, and it will be safe for the customer, but it ensures that you get your money, and there's no worrying about, are they going to pay or are they not going to pay, because they've already paid. All right, now this next section that I'm going to talk to you about is probably, I'm going to say the majority of lawn care people use the different forms of payment in this next section. This is the big section. So it would be, the first thing would be collecting at time of service. Now, I used to do this when I was a kid. In 1977, I started doing lawn care, and I would go cut the lawn and then knock on the door. Hopefully the person was home, and usually I would collect cash. Sometimes I would, well, when I was a little kid, all I accepted was cash, and that was just the way. If the person wasn't home, you just had to come back. But normally, right now, you either will go pick up a cash payment, you'll get a check, or maybe you're doing some barter and you get a chicken or something, a cow, a goat, I don't know. Anyway, that's payment at the time of service. Now, the problem with this is, if you don't get the payment right then, let's say the person's not home, they were home, they left, whatever, well, now you have to come back and collect the payment again. Now you become not only a lawn care company, but now you're a collection agency. And anytime that you're doing work on your business and you're not getting paid for it, i.e. it's not generating any revenue, which collections is not generating revenue, you're just trying to collect on it, it's costing your business. And there is a dollar figure that you could try to put on it. You'd have to keep track of your time, but it's an expense that doesn't need to happen. You got to wait on customers, right? You have to wait on customers. If they're not there, you got to wait on them. Maybe they say they're coming back, whatever. It's not the best scenario, but it's very common for people to do that. Okay, so the next thing is you're collecting after the service as well, but you're using one of these apps. You're using like Venmo or Zelle or Cash App. There may be more. I don't use any of these. But again, you've done the service and then you send them a message or whatever. I don't know exactly how it works because I don't use them. Maybe you're using PayPal. And then they have to respond back by sending you the money. Okay, it requires the customer to do something. Now again, if they don't send you the money after you've sent them the first message or text or whatever you do, then you have to do it again. You have to follow up. And this is, again, non-revenue generating activities for your business. And I'm going to explain a little later why I don't do this, okay? So once you do that and you get paid, hopefully it's fine. So what happens if you do weekly service and you don't get paid, the first time you go back, it's time to service the yard again. Do you cut it? What's your policy on that? Do you not cut it? This is the big problem with taking payment after service, is you have to decide how many cuts, how many services you're going to get into the customer before you cut them off if they're not paying you or they're slow payers or whatever. So the next main topic under this would be invoicing. You can either send invoices by email, electronically, or you can mail them. I hope in this day and age you're not sitting down and actually printing and mailing out invoices, because it takes time, it takes money, it's expensive. The postage, hopefully if you're doing invoicing, you're doing electronically. But this is to me, the worst case scenario for your cash flow. Okay, so number one, you've got to generate the invoice, send it to them. Hopefully, if you email it to them, they have to open the email. Then they have different options for paying. Normally, it would be electronic type of payment, or maybe they're mailing you a check. If it's a business, a lot of times they will mail you. Now you have to wait for the payment, and it's going to take a while. People don't usually pay invoices all the time exactly when they get them. And you may not get payment for several weeks, a month later. Some businesses will go, well, we'll pay in 45 days or whatever. And you're into the customer for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 services, right? So you're constantly extending them credit, okay? You're extending them service credit, and then they're paying you as they pay you. Well, there's problems. If you don't get paid, you got to follow up. You have to keep track of all the people that haven't paid. You've got to, you have to do all these different things, which require you to follow up on the payments. Somebody's backing down my street. That's weird. So anyway. And I think the majority of landscape and lawn companies do it this way, okay? Maybe because they've always done it this way. I have never done it this way because I don't like waiting, causing more time to occur between the times I get paid. Okay, so those are the bulk ways to do it. And probably whatever I've touched on so far, probably 90% of you guys watching do it that way. Now, I'm going to tell you the way I do it, and I'm going to explain why I think this is the best way for your cash flow and for your business. I do credit card on file. So, basically, when I get an invoice that's accepted, I will require that they put a credit card on file. That could be a credit card, a debit card, American Express, Visa, MasterCard, I don't care. But I will send them through Yardbook. After they accept the invoice, I'll send them a link to put the payment card on file. Now, in all the years that I've been doing this, I have probably had 3 or 4 people say, I'm not doing that, out of thousands of estimates I've done. It's usually somebody that's elderly. They say, well, I've always paid my loan guy with a check and all that. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't do that. I'm like, okay, well, I don't bend this rule for anybody, because I'm going to explain why in just a minute. Now, I've got customers that every once in a while will pay me cash, but I've got their credit card on file, and if they're going to give me cash, I'm not going to refuse it. That's fine. But 99.99% of everybody is, well, 100% of all my customers are credit card on file. And the reason that I do that, and I want to talk about one point here, is that when I service somebody's yard, I go into Yard Book and I can immediately go ahead and charge the card for the amount of the service. So I get paid immediately. Now, every once in a while, I'll get a card come back for non-sufficient funds, or the card was canceled or whatever. You know, people get new cards are stolen, and they, you know, that happens every once in a while. But I never have a problem with the person, because using the credit card on file kind of weeds out I'm gonna say the deadbeats, people that aren't financially very good with their money. Almost everybody has a credit card, and that's just the way it is in 2024. Everything pretty much is purchased by credit card for the most part. But I will just send them a quick text, say, hey, card bounced, whatever, and they will always fix it, put a new card on file or whatever. So that is one point. So that can happen, right? It can happen. But here's the but. My policy, the company policy here at Gwinnett Lawns, is if you have not paid, let's say your credit card bounced and you didn't take care of it, I'm not going to service your yard again and suspend service until that is taken care of. So I will never get more than one service into somebody without being paid. And it's never happened. I've always been paid for all the work I've ever done. I've had a couple customers that, for whatever reason, it took almost 2 weeks for the card to get right, but I was paid for it. I told them, you know, they're like, hey, you gonna do the lawn today? Got to take care of the last bill first. So that's very, very, very rare. Now, there is an expense to taking credit card on file, right? I think it's like between 1.75 and 2.25%, something like that. Every time you swipe your card at a gas station, at a grocery store, buying movie tickets, wherever, the merchant is paying a fee to the credit card company for the privilege of using and processing the credit card. All right, that is a normal business expense, just like mower, blades, belts, fuel for the truck, uniforms, whatever. It's just another expense, right? Don't let that dissuade you. If that's a problem, Yard Book, I think, has a thing where you can add the percentage on there, or just build it in your price, right? Your price includes all the expenses of your bus. If you're charging $50 for a yard, that's not $50 of profit. You have mower payments, depreciation, fuel, blades, everything, your salary, all that is built into the price. So just build that into the price. Don't let that stop you from using credit cards on file. The main thing, good thing about this, obviously, is you're not going to get more than one service into somebody, but the customer doesn't have to do anything in order for you to get paid. You have to do it. So at the end of every day, this is what I do. This is what I have done since 2019. When I get done for the day, I go into Yard Book and I charge every single card for the amount of the service that we did, and then I email them the invoice. So the customer doesn't have to do anything. All they got to do is receive the invoice if they want to look at it. I'm not waiting for them to send me something. I'm not waiting on the mail. There's 1,000 different excuses. So I get paid for everything the day of the service. Now, I could at every stop do the exact same thing, but I like doing it on my computer, so I come home and do it. And it weeds out a lot of issues, right? Credit card on file weeds out a lot of issues with people that may be sketchy. So now, I know exactly what and I've heard this from people. Well, that'll never work, man. My customers won't do that. Okay, time out for a minute. I I thought the exact same thing. Look, almost everybody uses Amazon and they require a credit card on file. And this is how I sell it, right? I'll tell them when I'm meeting with them, or if I'm doing this via email, I will tell them, I'm sending you the estimate. We do the payments just the way Amazon does it with credit card on file. And the charge is done after the service is completed that day. And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. 99% of the customers absolutely positively love it because they don't want to do another thing in life, right? They don't have to do anything. Once they get everything set up, it's on autopilot. If you'll say that, if you'll tell them that, right? Because everybody uses Amazon, and Amazon does credit card on file. Nobody has an issue with that. Maybe some people do. I mean, I have had one or two people before in this business say, oh, I'm not doing that. I'd rather give you a check. I'm like, well, you do realize a check is much easier to do fraud if somebody's going to do it than a credit card. If there's a problem, you just cancel the card. But anyway, do not let that dissuade you. If you are starting from scratch, start out with credit card on file. If you already have 100, 200, 300 customers and you're doing invoicing, then just transition them to credit card on file. Every new person that comes in, credit card on file is the option. That's the only option. And I'm telling you, I think if you guys will try it, it checks all the boxes of efficiency, and it frees up your time. I spend exactly, I'm going to say, less than 10 minutes a month, 10 minutes a month chasing down or going after a bad credit card. And I'm saying bad card, people's card numbers get stolen. You know, the debit cards may not have funds. They may want to switch it. You know, I may have to send them a new link, and that's it. Think about all the time you spend collecting, trying to get payments. It's just, look, we're in the lawn care business, the bottom line, and you're not in the collection agency business. It is wasting your time, because that time that you're trying to collect on all these accounts that haven't paid yet or paid late or whatever, you could be out doing extra yards. So anyway, so I wanted to just bring that to everybody's attention. Hopefully, if you're not using credit card on file, you'll at least give it a try. I mean, just to be straight up honest, I want you guys to do well and to be efficient and to put more money in your account, right? And if you're not willing to look at other things, you've been doing this for 25 years this way, and I mean, I hate this statement, but at the end of the day, it's your choice, right? It's your business. You can operate it the way you want. But I think that if you will try it with some of your customers, I think you'll really find that it frees up a lot of time. So that's what I do. It works wonderfully. For me, I come home, it's 3 or 4 minutes on the computer, because you're going to have to generate something anyway. I just generate the invoice, charge the card, is done, it's over, email it, bam. It's just a couple clicks of the mouse, it's done. So hopefully that is something that you will integrate. If you do or don't use it, or if you think I'm just crazy and I'm telling you to do this and you're gonna lose all your customers, put it down in the comments. I really would like to know what you guys think. If you have not tried it and you're not gonna try it, or if you used to do it the old way and are trying it and it works good, I would really genuinely like to know. Because maybe different areas of the country are anti-credit card. I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I cut grass and make videos. So anyway, I genuinely hope you guys will be able to take something away from this and be able to increase your business and increase the efficiency. And with that being said, I will talk to you on the next video.